We'll start with the outer wing, and that's this one right here, the one you make with the body color. So wherever you made your dragon, the main color of your dragon, that's what you'll use for the outer wing. And we're going to chain 16. Remember to start with a longer starting tail, something that you can use to sew in later. And we're going to chain 16, yarn over and pull through 16 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is 16. Row 2, we're going to start in the second chain from the hook. So there's the first chain, we're going to go into the second one. When you push through, I always find it easier to make sure that there's 2 loops of that chain on top and 1 loop of that chain on the bottom. And single crochet across in each one of those chains. There's the one we just worked. Going into the next one. So again, this is just repetitive. You just make sure that you don't go back into the same chain you just worked, and you go into the next one. And we'll go right across. I'll meet you back here when we're ready to put in the last single crochet. So when we're ready to work the last chain. Alright, I've worked my way across. I'm just ready to go into the last chain. And that ends row 2, and now we have 15 stitches across. We started with 16, but because we began in the second chain from the hook, we have 15 stitches, and you can count those V's. Now we chain 2 and turn. 1, 2. Starting in the third chain from the hook, we're going to put 1 half double crochet in the next 11 stitches. So we're just going to skip that chain that we made and work in the first solid stitch of the row. Return it towards you and go into the third V. Remember, when you do half double crochet, you yarn over before going in. So yarn over, go through, making sure you're going through both loops of that stitch. Yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Going into the next stitch, yarn over, go in. That was 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Now we chain 3 and turn. 1, 2, 3, and turn. Now we're going to start in the fourth V from the hook. So just skip that chain we just made and go into the first solid stitch of the row. We're going to put 1 half double crochet in the next 9 stitches. There's 1, 2, 9. And now we're going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together. So just go into the next stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, into the last stitch of the row, which is always kind of funny on the end. Make sure you're going through both loops. You have 3 loops, pull through all 3 loops. Chain 2 and turn. 1, 2. Starting in the third stitch from the hook, so we're just going to skip that chain we made. Half double crochet in the next 7 stitches. chain 3 and turn, 1, 2, 3. Starting in the 4th stitch from the hook, so we're just going to skip that chain we made, half double crochet in the next 5 stitches. One, and 5, and now we're going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together. That last stitch, again, kind of funny. Okay, so now we're going to continue down this side here, and there's no real stitches to work in. We're going to have to push through, and you can see that there's chains there that we made and when we turned. We don't want to go underneath the chain because that'll make holes. We want to go through the chain. So we're going to crochet 2 together 3 times and then put a single crochet in the corner. So we're going to be pushing through this part here. So there's my first 2 together. I'm going to do that 2 more times. And now last time, pushing through that chain. And then we'll put a single crochet in this corner. So now we're going to continue down this edge and we're going to put a single crochet in 15 outer loops, and that's just the top loops. They're completely visible. They're not stitches, they're just the top loops. So we're going to put a single crochet in each one of those 15 loops. There was 1, 2, 3, 14, and last one, 15. Now we're going to continue down this edge here. So we're going to chain 1, and now there's stitches to work in. You can see the V's there. We're going to go through both loops of those V's. So each one of those visible stitches, I'm going to put a single crochet in there. Now we'll continue down this part of the wing, so we'll put a single crochet right through the corner, pushing through, it's not a stitch. And now there's chains here again that we made, and we're going to be pushing through those chains on both of these here, just like we did on the end. So single crochet, there's not really a number, just find a loop and go through it. There's 1, 2, 3. There's stitches here, but there's one more bit of the chain there, so I'm going to put a single crochet into there. Notice I didn't go underneath the chain, I went through it. Now there's stitches again. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now we'll go into that corner there, pushing through. Again, we're going to push through this chain here, finding loops to go through. Don't go underneath the chain. And now we're back to stitches again, and we're going to finish off up here. So you can see all those visible stitches. We're going to go through each one of those, a single crochet, and we'll meet back here when we get to this part, this starting yarn tail. Okay, I got down to that starting yarn tail. Now I'm going to finish off. So I left a nice long tail because I'm going to sew in some pipe cleaner once I get the next wing made, and I want a nice long tail to do that because I'm going to be wrapping around a pipe cleaner. So you make 2 of these outer wings. Okay, now we're making the inner wing, and I was debating whether I should leave this in this tutorial or not. I decided to leave it in for those of you who rely on the visual. This is pretty much identical to this piece here, it's just a different stitch count. So instead of chaining 16, we chain 14 for this one. So it's pretty much the same, but I'm going to show you each and every row. I go very quickly over this one because, like I said, it's identical to this, it's just a little bit smaller. So I'll go ahead and we'll make the inner wing together, and again, I show you how to do it, then you pause the video, and then you catch up, and then you carry on to the next row. Okay, making the inner wing now, we're going to use the alternate color. We're going to chain 14 for the start of this one. So yarn over and pull through 14 times. There's my chain of 14, and again, starting in the second chain from the hook, there's the first one. Starting in the second one, we're going to single crochet across this chain. So I'll continue on with this part of the pattern, and I'll meet you back here when we're ready to put in the last single crochet. Okay, I've made it across. I'm just going to go into that last chain and put my single crochet, and that ends row 2. And remember, you can do a stitch count just by counting those V's. Chain 2 and turn, 1, 2. Starting in the third stitch from the hook, we're going to half double crochet into the next 9 stitches. Remember, when you start in the third from the hook, that just means you're skipping that chain that you made. So 1 half double crochet in the next 9 stitches. So I just got to the end of row 3. Now I chain 3 and turn. Starting in the 4th stitch from the hook, that just means we skip that chain we just made. Half double crochet into the next 7 stitches. Just finished putting in my 7 half double crochets. Now we're going to single crochet the last 2 stitches together. Remember, that ending stitch is always a little bit funny. And that's the end of row 4. Now chain 2 and turn. Starting in the 3rd stitch from the hook, 1 half double crochet in the next 5 stitches. Chain 3 and turn. Starting in the 4th stitch from the hook, 1 half double crochet in the next 3 stitches. It's 1, 2, and 3, and now single crochet the last 2 stitches together. Now we're going to work along this edge here. We're going to crochet 2 together 3 times, and then a single crochet into the corner. Remember, you don't go underneath those chains that we made. We're going to push through them. So 2 together 3 times. And now single crochet into the corner. Now we're going to work on the outer loops. We're going to put 1 single crochet in each one of those 13 outer loops. Remember, you're just pushing through the top visible loop 13 times. Okay, I just got to the end of the 13th outer loop. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to work along this side now, just like the outer wing. We're going to put a single crochet in each one of those visible stitches. And now there's no stitches to work in. We're going to put a single crochet into that corner, and then a single crochet along here, pushing through those loops of the chain. Working along here now, there is visible stitches there, but the first one is still that chain, so we're going to push through it. And now working in the corner, single crochet, and again there's a chain here, so we're just going to push through the chain and put a single crochet in those loops. So now there's visible stitches, so we'll put a single crochet in each one of those visible stitches, and we'll finish off once we get to the starting yarn tail. Okay, when you finish off for this one, you don't need long yarn tails. You're just going to tuck them, cut them up shorter, and they're going to get tucked in between the inner wing and the outer wing when we sew it together. Okay, so now I'm going to sew the inner wing to the outer wing. The outer wing, stretch it out with your fingers so the inner wing fits in there nicely. You should see the outer wing edge all the way around, so it should sit right inside. And we're also going to be sewing a pipe cleaner all around the edge, so remember that when you're sewing. So if you don't see the outer edge on this part here on the tips of the wing, just pull it apart with your fingers, stretch it out. I'm going to take a different piece of yarn, just a strand of yarn, same color as the outer wing, and believe it or not, this piece here is sewn in with dark blue, but I pull it so tight that you can't see it through the inner wing. So that shorter yarn tail, starting yarn tail, will get tucked in between the outer wing and the inner wing. So now I'll take my strand of yarn and I'm going to go right through the outer wing and the inner wing, and take your time to do this part. Take your time to stop and adjust everything as you need to, because the finished piece will look much nicer if you take your time. So pull it through, leave the one yarn tail in the back hanging, and then hang on to it with your fingers so it doesn't pull all the way through. And I'm going to go just over a little ways from where I came through, just over, like that, and pull it through. And you can see it there, but if you pull it tight, it disappears. So pull it nice and tight. I'm going to go up, and I'm just going to do all around the edge. It doesn't have to be that close together. So I'm going to come through like that, pull it, and then very close, just over a little ways. You can see it there, pull it, and it disappears. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around. Remember that you want to keep your outer edge of the wing always visible. So stop and adjust if you have to, and hang on to it with your fingers as you sew it in place. Okay, I've made it all the way around. Now I'm going to take those yarn tails and knot them off together. So I'll bring this one that I just finished using through and bring it out the same stitch hole that I have the other one hanging, and I'll knot these two off. And now I'm going to thread them both. And then go through that stitch hole that the knot is coming out of, go through it, and bring the needle in between the inner wing and the outer wing, just through a stitch hole, and carry those yarn tails through. And now pull on them and cut. And then our yarn tails are hidden away. So if I had blue pipe cleaner, it would be a lot easier for me, but I'm going to show you what to do if you have a light colored pipe cleaner and that's all you have on hand. I'm just going to take two of them and twist them. And I'm going to go along the outer edge. I'm going to go very slowly because I want to shape the wing as I go. And I'm going to wrap the thread or the yarn tail around. Now I did it with this one. If I had blue pipe cleaner, like I said, my life would be a lot easier. So I'm going to have to wrap side by side all the way down. All the way around, I should say. And that's all there is to that. I'm just going to go back and forth. Again, taking my time because I don't want to lose any shape here. Okay, so when you get around the tip of the wing, just make sure that you're shaping the pipe cleaner and following that inner wing all the way around. Okay, I'm just going to show you what to do if the yarn tail gets too short. It's already happened to me once, so I had to carry in another yarn tail. I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm just going to bring it through one more time here. Getting too short to work with. So I'm going to carry this one through a stitch hole and leave it hanging. And I'm going to get another strand of yarn and thread that one. Then go through where I just brought the other one out, go right through that stitch hole and bring the yarn needle up to where I want to start it wrapping again. So I'll knot these two off now. And I'll just leave them for now. Now I can continue on wrapping around this pipe cleaner. I'm going to cut that free now, this excess. Okay, so now that the pipe cleaner is sewn in place, to get this shape is just pinching the tips together. And then I push this part to the top down. And you get a pretty cool shape this way. And now they're ready to be sewn onto the dragon.